Hello, my name is Renaud Vancatassin. I'm the President, Chief Executive Officer of CURIUM. So just the subject today is the specific waste to treat with dual issues regarding radiological and chemical issues. So we will explain to you how we manage that in different contexts. It could be mainly with natural radioactive waste, but it could be with artificial as well. So just before a short presentation of the company. So CURIUM is a small company. We are localized in the middle of France, in Lyon. In this area, we have operations with all the laboratory, because we have a lab which is inside of the company, and we have all the equipment to intervene everywhere. We have a site in the south of Paris, in Massy, with office and some equipment as well. So the company is now a 30 years old company with a long story around waste, not only radiological but chemical as well, which is very important in the story, because the first thing is we are chemists, and let's say to understand very well a problem with radioactives is to have a clear position of the chemical situation. The company is really international with 10 languages spoken. We are able to intervene in 23 different countries in the world, mainly in Europe, but we intervene as well in Asia and Africa. We have 2 laboratory cells, which is very important because in very often situations we face, let's say, waste without any solutions. We can consider that as an orphan, and we need to find the solutions. And to develop such solutions, we need to make process development, and those process developments is for sure lab scale first, and after pilot scale. And thanks to these laboratory cells, we have the opportunity to have a full approach of the development. So very important to know that lab and this cells are authorized with a specific authorization from the French government, allowing us to handle radioactives. Could be natural, could be artificial, and we have that authorization as well for nuclear elements like plutoniums or tritiums. The company, just a point, is we have 50 employees, and the turnover is roughly 8 million euros. We have different certifications, which is important in the radioactivity, is the authorizations, as I mentioned first, for the cells, and we have the safe-free to intervene on the site of nuclear power plant, for instance. Next. So the company is with different kind of services. The main point is we have both studies and works. For studies, we have engineering and consulting, meaning that we are totally autonomous on the development of the solutions. With this engineering, we have all the technical expertise. Before entering a project, we need to have a clear understanding of the situations to understand exactly the kind of contaminants, of waste we can find on site. So this go first by a full historical understanding to have some clue about the kind of contamination we can have on site. After that, we have all the contaminations sampling with all the radioactives measurement, and with the lab development, let's say chemicals understanding of the problem. So in such situations, we have two kinds of services. We have the lab, which is a lab on site. We can bring our lab with all the ventilation system, which is compliant with the nuclear activities. And we have all the equipment inside to make all the measurements regarding the characteristic on the radioactives and on the chemical point of view as well. We have all the project management assistance. Sometimes we have customers which are public administrations. They need some help to have a clear understanding of the situations and to manage all the projects from the identification of the risk and to remove all the risk from the site. So we can bring all the project for them with this project management assistance. A lab for analysis, I already explained what it means. Sizing of treatment facilities is pretty often the situations because we develop process and sometimes customers ask us to develop the skid to make all the treatment on site. And we are able to put it in the administration's, let's say, specifications. So bringing all the hazardous assessments, all the danger assessments. The works on site is decontamination, dismantling, hazardous waste management, management of production change, and shutdown involving hazardous plants. So we have really a lot of situations. It could be sometimes a small lab with a very short, let's say, cleaning and decontaminations, and it could be a full plant to dismantle with radioactives in the middle to handle it properly. And we have the on-call and emergency response. So this kind of service is something which is really important for customers which have, let's say, commercial activities in France, for instance, but without any technical people on site. So we are able to bring all these emergency response activities to have something which is, let's say, to mitigate the issue in case of emergency. So in case of fire, in case of, let's say, leakage, in case of explosions or flood. So we can bring all that elements for our customer. So we will present that the approach, all the radioactive waste management, it will be done by Stéphane, exotic waste and the methodological approach, and the means to meet this challenge. We are not speaking about large volumes. We are speaking about small issues in terms of size, but big issues in terms of competencies and technical approach. So sometimes we have that waste which are stored for years, tenths, and we need to bring that on a proper approach again to avoid let's say, to have that issues in the middle of a large site, creating big problems for the owner. I can give you some example about that. You see pictures of Marie Curie, which is not, let's say, by luck. We put her, and the name of the company is linked to this very fantastic family with 5 Nobel Prizes. But is for another reasons, because we start to work on the lab of Marie Curie in Arcueil, where it was stored for a lot of years, quantities of waste which were not handled at all by the different, let's say, owners of the site. This site was a research lab for 50 years, from the 20s to the 70s. And it was closed without any, let's say, real treatment for all the waste. So we brought all the solutions to measure, to make a characterization, a full characterizations of each waste present on site, regarding just one, let's say, underground storage. It was more than 450 different waste with small quantities in vials, but some were in drums. And we had to make a full characterization of all that waste, which was a big challenge. You can imagine in the middle of a city with, let's say, all the flat around us, having a look on the site with animals entering the site, so exiting, with kids sometimes entering. So we had to secure that to make it clear without any risk for the neighborhood. So considering this, we were able to provide to Andra, which is the French company, state-owned company in charge to treat the waste. We were able to bring a full characterization, a full identification of the waste on site. And after that, to bring the right formulations to have that waste totally treated by Andra. So with the right packaging, with the right formulations. So that's our knowledge. And just to tell you that why the company is so-called the CURIUM is not, again, by luck. Is because we have really a big link with that story, creating all that activities about radioactivity.
Thank you, Renaud, for the presentation, the beginning of the presentation. I'm Stéphane Poncet. I'm the General Director of CURIUM. I will try to present you how we manage this type of waste, or specific waste. So first, you have to know, you are international people, so probably you don't know every solution of radioactive waste management in France. So I present, it's important to know where the waste will go. So first, you have the Andra disposal for very low radioactive waste, because it's a specific approach of France to have a very low radioactive waste. And you have low radioactive waste on intermediate level, short life. You have two sites of Andra, Sierres and Saint-Trobe. After for the other waste, you have low radioactive waste long life and intermediate long life, high level waste long life. You have Andra storage, but it's only Andra storage project in course. So after you have the incineration. You have one incinerator in France for very low radioactive waste and low radioactive waste. It's Socodei Centraco, it's EDF Cyclife. After you have wastewater treatment plants for wastewater. So, and now in France, you know, we haven't any threshold for release. We have opened very recently the possibility to valorize metals coming from nuclear dismantling. So, but we are very at the beginning of this approach. And in addition to this, because you have a specific specification, and because not all waste are in acceptance with the specification of site, you have to do pre-treatment in order to have waste acceptable by these facilities. The specification of these facilities in France, so it depends of radiological nature, the physico-chemical nature, the nature, the hazardous nature of the waste. For example, if you have toxic elements in the waste, you have the stability of the waste. Sometimes you have waste that react with water, that react with the air. So the stability is important to know, and you have some test, for example, to characterize if you have a stability or not. And you have the packaging also, too. It's important to the packaging are specific for each facilities. So the conclusion is not all waste complies with this specification. So for exotic waste, it's the case. Exotic waste have some characteristics and specific characteristics. So you have old waste, like Marie Curie waste, for example. You have degraded packaging. Sometimes we have these waste are chemically and radiologically unknown. You have very various and complex matrices. You have solids, aqueous liquids, oily liquids, organic and gas. You have very small quantities. It's important because small quantities, sometimes we have not enough quantities of quantity to characterize to characterize for the analyze necessary for the facility's acceptance. After, you have unstable chemically material. So that's, I said, the reaction to the air, reaction to the water. So after, you have very various radiological spectra and complex spectra. And sometimes activity very various with high activity. So with that on site, when you have these characteristics, it's not possible to transport securely the waste to the facilities. So CURIUM exists since 30 years. So in 30 years experience, first chemically experience and after complete with radiological experience and expertise. So we have developed a strategy to manage this type of exotic waste. So first, we do a precise inventory on site. Secondly, so we identify the chemical and radiological properties, but just identification, not quantification. After, you have the securization of the risk we identify. The securization, for example, if you have a degraded packaging, so we need to repackage it. Sometimes we need to do a reaction because the waste is considered too dangerous to stay in this state. And after, we are able to create an interim storage on site to secure, not, for example, according to chemical and compatibility between each waste. Some waste with other waste will react, and the reaction will create danger. So we define after this phase a sampling plan for a characterization, analysis to consider the specification of facilities where the waste will go. But not only. The characterization needs to have an approach for the pre-treatment, because you can imagine that the waste, because of the analysis, will be not acceptable in this state by the facilities. So we imagine first and we analyze with this mind. Yes. The second step, so it's the precise characterization. And for the precise characterization, you have two possibilities. So maybe the sampling, you can transfer it in our laboratory in CURIUM Montagny. But sometimes we need to have the laboratory on site. So on site, we will have first characterization or basic characterization. We need to characterize the radioactivity first. And sometimes we have to assemble. Why? Because the quantity is too few for ANDRA characterization. We have not enough quantity to do every analysis. So we need to assemble some projects to have enough quantity for the characterization. So this is very important because it needs to master the compatibility of the project, so the products between each products. Sometimes we need, before the analyze, to inertize the samples. We do reaction, because without reaction we have not possible to analyze the product. Radiological characterization on site, chemical characterization and sampling analyze on site. We do sample preparation on site because when you analyze a waste, you have to prepare the waste for the analysis equipments. And so the sample go to Montagny for the precise characterization. The complexity of this type of approach is that we work on in hazardous environments. Sometimes people of CURIUM work with air conditioning because the atmosphere is too contaminated. The second step. So when we have very good characterization of the wastes, we define adaptive process to enter in the specification of the facilities. So we design solution. It's always a process solution. So we design process treatment on site for few quantities. But each process is a new process. You have never the same process. And we design this final solution to do the job on site. In parallel, so we have discussion with facilities like ANDRA, like EDF Site Life for the incineration, or wastewater treatment station. The step 4 is to realize the job. We will only package some waste because some waste will be acceptable in their state. But for the non-acceptable in the state waste, we do the process. We realize the process on site. We treat on site. So it needs to master chemical reaction. It needs to master the radiological aspects, the radioprotection aspects, sometimes very hard. You see this picture, it's a work we do and realize with treatment and reconditioning, for example. So what we try to present you and to focus, it's this type of exotic waste, even if it's very few quantities, it's a very difficult approach. Why? Because it needs a lot of experience and competencies. So you need to have an adapted multi-radio element radio protection. You need to have a very good comprehension of radiological measurements. You have a comprehensive analytical chemistry on matrices, on specific matrices, on waste matrices. We need to develop each time a new solution to analyze some new matrices or some new elements. You need to master the process chemistry control. So for CURIUM it's important because we have a great experience in conventional parts. So we bring to nuclear part our experience from the conventional part, especially for chemistry. After you have a complex reaction process to manage on site. You need to have nuclear safety experience. You need to have an experience for radioactive waste management, but not only, as I said, conventional and nuclear facilities. You need to master the analytical and process chemist to work on site. It's not simple because it's simple to work on a laboratory, but a laboratory inside is different. And you need to have radio protection specialists because this site always have no structure for radio protection, so we have to create the radio protection structure each time, anew, with new radio elements, with new spectrum. And we need to have radiological measurement technicians capable to work on site.
Okay, so just to summarize the situation. So, as I mentioned first, we have a comprehensive technical resources in the company able to intervene on site and to bring the samples to our facilities and to develop all the measurement and so on. So we have some glove box, we have ICP-MS, we have already a lot of equipment making let's say comprehensive competences for all the waste which are in the site. So just to tell you that is multidisciplinary expertise is very important. We are not only chemists, we are radioactive specialists, we are process specialists, we have competencies in terms of explosives, in terms of asbestos. So we are able to cover all the issues you can find on site. It's very important to have in mind. So for such a works, we need to bring all that competencies. So I thank you a lot to listen us. So if you have any questions, don't hesitate, it's time.
Hello. First of all, thank you so much for your presentation and for being here. Thank you so much. Sorry. Well, I have a question about, you told me that you're also able to go for an emergency, to go there. I wonder, what do you do? I mean, you receive a call, yes, there is a reagent that just leaked. How do you do it? I mean, you ask for the details, you went there, you try to delimit everything. What is your process to doing?
Emergency response is really a specific business, you know. It cannot be done by everyone because you need to understand what your caller is saying. Because, for instance, a drum could be 1 cubic meter waste. It could be a bucket. So just you need to be very open mind, and when you put the questions, when the guy receiving the call need to have, you know, a full checklist of what kind of the issues we are facing. So it's really something asking a lot of competencies of, let's say, of the situations to give true pictures of the situations. Sometimes we go on site. We just receive something which looks very easy to do, and it could be amazing because you don't have the right information. So the questions we put at the, you know, during this call is really, really important. Now, thanks to the phone, the smartphone, we receive pictures, making the situation much more clear for us. But again, we still have a specialist in front of that, having a big experiences on such a situation to be able to bring the right equipment, because we have that equipment already prepared on site, on site. and we are ready to leave the site within 2 hours to go almost everywhere in France, in Italy, in Spain, in Ireland, in Great Britain, in Germany. So it allows us to have that already prepared, making the operation much more faster. Thank you.